Elon Musk just paid an army to beat Russia. Since the beginning of Russia's operation against Ukraine, the world has been wondering what this would lead to. Expecting some countries to intervene, many people, including Ukrainians, were surprised when the US didn't involve itself in the battle and only decided to condemn Russia's actions against Ukraine. Elon Musk has been warning the US against Russia and has asked the country to act fast against Russia before things get out of control. To learn more about how the US responded to Elon Musk's pleas, watch the whole video. But before we start, please click on the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to keep getting updates on Elon Musk and his companies. Invading Ukraine, Russia has used soldiers and bombs to capture certain parts of Ukraine, which has worked. However, the international community took a stand by sanctioning Russia. The hope was to destabilize the Russian community, hoping that its President Putin would stop his operation to save his country from collapsing its economy. However, one thing became clear through all of this, that is, sanctions will not stop Putin from achieving his desire to take control of Ukraine. Ukraine is nowhere near Russia's economy and military strength. The takeover was something that Putin and the rest of the world expected to be a quick operation, especially that no country would have dared to get themselves involved. Now, why hasn't any country sent their soldiers to Ukraine to assist in helping Ukraine overcome Russia? This is what Elon Musk is asking. Although Musk believes that there has to be strong intervention in the war, he does express his concerns about what this war could turn out into should things spiral out of control. At the beginning of Russia's invasion, its President Putin made a bold threat to any nation that dared to involve themselves in the invasion. He said that anyone who disturbed his operation would face consequences that they had never seen before. Now, Putin didn't specify what he meant by that statement, leaving much of his words in people's ear to speculation. However, he has not let the puzzle in a way that is difficult to understand. The pieces might be easy to connect, as Russia has been known as the first country to collect nuclear weapons. Owning much more than the US and having different kinds of them has been a huge threat for the US. Despite the US having a strong military force and better economy, the fact that Russia has also been manufacturing rocket engines for years and many countries have been relying on it, stating the number of nuclear weapons that are in Russia might be a fruitless exercise since much of their weapons might not be known by the public. But one thing is for sure, with all the tension that has been carried out through the years, Russia certainly has many of its weapons pointed out to the US, including weapons both at sea and land. Elon Musk, through his SpaceX, designs rockets and understands the amount of damage they would cause if they were used as weapons. This is why the whole situation does not sit well with him. The United States and many Europeans have set back against sending soldiers to Ukraine for this very reason. No one wants to see a nuclear war that could potentially affect the whole world. If the US gets involved in the war, this could trigger a nuclear war, and countries like China would certainly back Ukraine, especially because they have similar issues in Asia. However, the world has not sat back to watch Ukraine being torn apart. It has instead followed in Musk's footsteps, who has been unapologetic about his actions in helping Ukraine. Before anyone else could take any action, Musk decided to send SpaceX's Starlink satellites to help Ukraine with their internet connection. This became a stumbling block for Russia, which believed that bombing the key cities in Ukraine could destroy internet cables and isolate Ukraine from the rest of the world. This would make it hard for the small country to find help and would eventually give up their country. Since Starlink satellites are set up in space rather than internet cables, Russian bombs cannot destroy them, allowing the government and military to continue communicating through the war. Musk has also been developing software that helps the citizens as well stay connected to the rest of the world, and this has helped millions of civilians in the country. Since Starlink has been a network to got for due to the reliable internet, many have become accustomed to using it as opposed to using the traditional internet. Although Musk has not been to Ukraine personally, he has directly helped the military continue its work in defending its country. The US and the rest of Europe decided to play their part by instilling sanctions against Russia. One of the worst for Russia was the cancellation of international banking in the country, which has caused a lot of turmoil for rich people living in Russia who rely on moving their money and stocks to keep their wealth intact. It also has affected many businesses which have had to close down due to the difficulty in importing and exporting goods, and who rely on international money trading to keep their businesses going. The easy task of taking over Ukraine is beginning to look much more difficult than what had been originally thought of. taking over some parts. Russia is becoming aware day by day that they might not achieve their dream to take over the country as a whole. Thanks to Elon Musk and the countries playing their part in delaying Russia's victory over Ukraine. Now, this would be good news if there was nothing more to it, but it turns out that Russia is getting desperate and might view nuclear weapons as their only option to continue the fight. Russia seems to have held back against using nuclear weapons as the last option. However, with all the world's intervention on their invasion of Ukraine, nuclear weapons might be the country's last hope to take over Ukraine. War is expensive and the money is running out for Russia. The longer the war takes, the more money Russia loses, and that is something they are not looking forward to. With much of their success in invading Ukraine, Russia is still struggling to secure key cities in Ukraine, and a lot of Russian soldiers are dying. This is happening while Russia slowly realizes that they are headed to a prolonged economic depression. Putin's final option might be to use nuclear weapons to end the war as quickly as possible. It's not clear how the others concerned will respond to this, however. All possibilities are open at this point. The economic isolation means that Russia might also run out of traditional ammunition, giving Ukraine a better advantage since they will be receiving most of their weapons and ammunition from countries supporting it. Stopping their invasion of Ukraine is not an option for the Russian president and therefore might use what is available. Elon Musk has warned that things are about to get to this point and soon we might start seeing nuclear weapons dispatching to Ukraine. He has therefore asked the US government to act before Russia gets desperate enough to start using nuclear weapons. This is due to the fact that should all this turn into World War III, the whole world will be affected and much of human land on Earth might no longer be used for human life. This could threaten human life as a whole. Furthermore, it would crush the US economy and all other major players. This will be detrimental to the world. Looks like the US has taken heed to Musk and has begun its search for a solution. China is another superpower country that is quite silent on the matter. When Putin announced that no other country should interfere in its operation, China supported Russia's decision. The US is therefore not quite sure on which side China leans on. However, US President Joe Biden and take a leap of faith and has decided to approach China's President Xi Jinping. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has also mentioned that the US has helped the country with military equipment and thanked them, making things much more difficult for Russia. This has the possibility of making Russia more aggressive in its approach. This whole experience has also embarrassed Putin, who had announced that he had an advanced military that could wipe out any threat. However, their failure to take full control of Ukraine has proven to the world that Russia is not as strong as it made itself out to be. However, for Musk, even the weakest country with nuclear weapons could become a huge player in any war. Now, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Let us know your thought in the comment sections below. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.